I'll call the meeting to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Commissioner Wright,
Here.
Commissioner Kidd,
Here.
Commissioner McDonald,
Here.
City Attorney, I'm sorry about your last name here.
I'm not sorry about it. I've rather liked it. It's Deginger.
Deginger. And Acting Police Chief White.
Here.
Is there anybody else?
No.
Okay, new business.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I have in my hand a new entry-level list for certification. This test was actually from earlier actually on the 27th of last month. We had this test in the oral board, and we have 9 names here that are on the eligibility list. So I'd like to actually hand that over to the chair for signing in the certification of that list.
Make a motion, we accept the list of civil service eligibility list.
Second.
Here.
Aye.
Aye.
The 22nd. Thank you very much. Place that here. The other thing that we're going to discuss with the commission today is that our consultant in the hiring practices that he's been trying to boost our recruiting for not just police officer, but for also the position of support services technician. In his process, he has identified the fact that if you were to search for the job of support services technician, the only job that pops up is the Mill Creek job. And then when I say search for it, I'm referring to like for Indeed or for any other type of recruiting website. And so what we request is that we move back to the title of records technician instead of support services technician. If you were to Google that same position, records technician, I believe there's approximately 10 positions that pop up immediately for municipalities, from records lead to all the way down to they're just the records tech position. So what we're asking is for basically a change to 2 titles in the civil service rules. On page 7, you'll notice that the lateral entry section describes records tech or support services technicians rather than records technicians. So we're working to have that change made. And I'd like to open it up to the chairman to ask for any questions or discussion.
In the search of the,
I don't know if they can hear you, Commissioner. I'm sorry.
The comment I have is when they send this out, they send the whole pack. And so I had to go through and find that one, which I thought was page 7, but reality is page 10 because they start off with Roman numerals. So it'd be more effective for us rather than have to go through all those pages again. It just send us
The change.
Change.
the 1 or 2 pages.
So I apologize if a red line version wasn't sent out to the commission. I apologize for that. So we'll do better next time.
the 2, you're just talking about changing the 2 locations, the
It's
same change.
The same paragraph has the title listed twice. So there's 2 changes.
The searches that you were looking at, the description of the record technicians in the other municipalities, what you're looking. What
Correct.
Describes what you need.
Correct.
Motion to have a change.
A motion that we accept the changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I'll have the city clerk will be in here shortly with a new signature page, and we'll add that with the corrections with a new signature page to the civil service rules and make that the change.
Okay.
Just so the record is clear, Chief, if you could say this change is made in Rule 4, Section 6A, is that correct?
I believe it is. It's in the lateral section, Grant, and
Title lateral entry.
yeah, correct.
Just wanna
Section
make sure.
6,
Yeah,
Section 6A.
okay. Thank you.
Then I wanted to give a hiring update. It's actually fairly impressive, I think, the jobs that we've been able to get as far down this road. Currently, we still have the entry-level folks that have signed their contingent offer letter. We're hoping that they get through their background process. Their psychologicals and medicals have been scheduled, so that once we get that background packet, we'll be able to jump right into the final 2 phases of the process with those 2 candidates. And also the one entry level that has also signed a conditional offer. Once her background comes back, she has also scheduled her psychological and medical. So we should be able to get those back quickly and have that August 1st date met. So we're excited about that. As far as the other processes, we do have several other positions that are still vacant. We have up to, thank you very much. And here's the signature page. I'll go ahead and present that to Commissioner Wright as the chair. Signature, pass it around the table.
How many of the conditional letters have been signed?
So 3 total right now. We have a 4th letter that's prepared for another lateral hire that has expressed interest and was ill recently and hasn't been able to come into the office. We're hoping that he recovers quickly and can join us and, make the decision to lateral to our department as well. So we're anxiously awaiting that. We have an additional 5 entry levels in background. So we have the one entry level that has signed an offer letter. We have 5 additional entry levels that have passed the polygraph, and we have now moved them into background. The reason why we haven't asked them to sign a conditional offer letter yet is that we don't have the academy spaces yet. And not only that, we wouldn't be able to, with 3 people coming in, possibly as laterals, we have to space out the training as well. We only have a certain number of training officers. So we're looking at 3 different academy classes, and therefore we have time to get more information back on them, background investigations, psychs, medicals done before we actually offer the contingent off letter yet. So these are individuals that were in the 7, 8, 9 position that weren't in that rule of 5. Yes. So we're still working on that. In addition to that, we have another 7 candidates scheduled for oral boards, entry-level candidates scheduled for oral boards, because once we get through that additional 5 that I spoke of, we will be done with this list. And that list will have all been processed.
Just one letter.
We have 2 laterals that are on a different list. If you recall, this is the entry-level list versus the lateral list. So on July 6th, we will interview an additional 7 applicants for the position of entry level. So once we have that process done, we'll be coming back to the commission because all the other individuals on this list that we signed off on have been processed already. That's how quickly we're moving.
You say with academy space too, you said you're the only allowed 3 at a time, is that what you're?
We can put more folks into the academy. They don't really have a
There's only 3
limit.
spaces.
The training after the academy. When they come out of the academy, we have to put them into field training. And so once they're out on the road, we have to have enough trainers to facilitate that training. And right now it's taking 4 to 5 trainers per student. Because you're not supposed to have the same
Right.
trainer on every phase. You're supposed to rotate those trainers through. So it's a very, it's a lot of work to get them through, and we have to identify more additional trainers. We've had several trainers resign from the department. So we have to also identify trainers and send them to training to be certified police training officers or field training officers. Yes.
It's a long process.
How many?
I want to say right now we have 5. So with only having 5 FTOs, and right now we're using the police training off model. So we're actually working with a Reno model versus the San Jose model, which is there's the difference in those 2 models. The PTO model, the Reno model, with 5 trainers, we're constantly rotating those people through those 5 trainers. And some of those trainers are actually sergeants. So we try and limit the time with sergeants because they have other administrative duties that they need to address rather than training student officers. So we typically use the sergeants as for midterm evaluations, for final evaluations as they see a sergeant. But during the normal course of their training phases, they're with a student or a police officer who's a training officer. The PTO program is approximately 15 to 18 weeks.
4 months roughly.
Yeah. So, and it's a little bit shorter with laterals. We can expedite that a little bit with laterals based on their experience and how they adjust to the Mill Creek style of how we run our department. So that's the hope that we get a couple more laterals interested in the position.
Laterals we had earlier this spring, they should be pretty well through their training by now.
One is completed her training and she is on the road. Officer Roy successfully completed her training. Officer Ojeda has been scheduled for some remedial training, had a little bit of difficulty with his process. So we're working with him to be successful.
Roy's one from New York. was it?
Correct.
So you're probably looking at a couple of years before you're at full capacity, hopeful full staff.
It all depends on how many trainers we can identify. If we bring laterals in, what their certifications are. If we bring experienced training officers in as laterals, and they become in a position where they're 6, 7, 8 months into the
okay.
department, and
Then
we
they can
can
do that.
start utilizing them as some of the primary training things that we're working on. It's hard to say, but at 18 to 24 months is probably what we're looking to be fully staffed and having everybody in line. If there's any more questions, regarding hiring?
Different topic.
Sure.
So last time you talked of, or you brought up the 5 commissioners.
There will need to be some changes that are made. I don't think we're going to worry about addressing those right now. I think that that's something that we can table for now and come back to later. There's going to be some discussion between me and the city attorney, Mr. Degginger. So I think that we have to get on the same page and move forward with that. If we decide to go that route, I wanted to make the commission aware of it, but it's not something we need to address right now.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, and in regards to, because this is a special meeting, we're not going to be approving minutes from last meeting. We'll wait until our next session to
Okay.
approve minutes. So with that, I think that if there's anything good of the order, sir, then
Good.
Make a motion, we adjourn today's meeting.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Good.
thank you very much for being here, Grant. I appreciate it.
Good. Talk to you later.
Okay.